Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to Friday's maths lesson. I would like you to pause the video and have a go at finding the difference between these calculations. Welcome back, Year 4. Okay, let's go through the answers. So we've been using the method of counting up from the smaller number to the larger number if the numbers are fairly close together. So 66, subtract 54, I'm going to count up from 54. I'm going to add 6 in my head to get me to 60, add 6 more to get to 66, so the difference is 12. And again, using the inverse, if I add 54 to 10, I've got 64, add 2 more, I've made it to 66. So it's always good to be checking your calculations by using the inverse. So counting up from 682 to 723, I'm going to add 18 to get me to 700, and then I've got another 23 to add on. So 23, add the 18, I've got add the 10 would be 33, add the 9 would be 41. Okay, so I've got a difference of 41. If I add my 40 onto 682, I've got 720. Add the 1, add the 1, then I've made it 723. So my difference I can see here is add 2 to get to 400, then I've got 55, so my difference is going to be 57. And if I add 2 here, I get to 700. Add 200 more, I get to 900, then I add 5, so I've got a difference of 207. Once you've marked your answers, then let's move on today, please. So today we are moving away from the grid method unless we find it useful to solve any problems, and we're going to be looking at multiplying 3 numbers together. So the way we're going to be successful is we're going to recognize that we can multiply 3 numbers in any order. I will come back to that in a moment. We're going to decide on the best order to multiply those 3 numbers. And then you're going to use your knowledge of your multiplication facts to help you complete the calculation. Now, very quickly, we're just going to get Sapphire Group started. Sapphire Group, you've got the same problems as yesterday. However, yesterday we were just focused on multiplying by 3 or 4, and I was providing the numbers you needed to write in the grid. So what I'd like you to do today, Sapphire Group, is I haven't given you the numbers to write in the grid. You're going to need to unpick the problems yourself. And you can also see we're not just multiplying by 3 and 4, but also 2 and 5. So it's really recapping what you've done all week. However, you're going to need to decide now what numbers to put into the grid. Just a reminder though that if I've got 19 packets of sweets, then that's going to be the number I'm going to partition into a 10 and a 9. And if I've got 3 sweets in each packet, I'm going to be multiplying by 3. And obviously I can use my number line to count in 3s, or I could count in 4s, or count in 2s, or count in 5s. And obviously I can use it for any addition as well. And a final reminder, if I was adding 7 to 50, my first jump would be 1 down to 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 57. So good luck today, anyone that's going to do the Sapphire challenge, and I'd like those children to start now. Everyone else then today, as I said previously, we're multiplying 3 numbers. So let's just look at this first example. 9 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 2. Okay, so if I've got 5 lots of 9, that is 45. Effectively, what I'm then going to do is multiply that by 2. Okay, so I can actually draw some brackets around this, just to help my understanding that I've done this first. And this array here, I can see that I've got 5, and I've got that 9 times. Okay, so 45 multiplied by 2 is going to give me the answer 90. Okay, not too difficult that one, because effectively when I'm multiplying by 2, I'm doubling the number. Okay. Let's have a look down here then. Now I've got 3 times 8. Okay, here's my array that shows that, and we know that the answer to that is 24. So now that I know that those two numbers multiplied together make 24, I can think about doing 24 multiplied by 3. Now, again, I can double that and add 24 more. If I was really not confident doing that, then I could use my grid method. Okay, I could actually, sorry, let's just use some straighter lines there. I could actually partition into 20 and 4, and I could put my 3 here. I could complete this the same way that we have been the last few days. However, triple 24, well, I know 3 lots of 20 is 60, 3 lots of 4 is 12, put that back together, I've got the answer 72. Okay, so that's how to multiply 3 numbers. I'm multiplying the first 2 together, and when I get my answer, or my product, if you like, I'm then multiplying it by this number. Okay, right, let's take our understanding on a little bit further now. So you're going to face a variety of different problems today. So first of all, this one says true or false. So let's have a look. We've got 6 lots of 9. There's my array underneath to show it. And I know that 6 lots of 9 is 54. Okay, if I wasn't wholly confident with that, I could think about using 5 lots of 9, which is 45, add 9 more. Equally, I could do 10 lots of 6 is 60, take 6 off, 54. So it's never, we never say we can't do the maths. We always say, okay, what do I know that can help me? So I've got 54, and times in by 2, I'm going to double that. So my answer should actually be 108. So in this situation, my answer was false, meaning that 99 wasn't true. Okay? So that number there is false. Let's take our understanding on a bit further. Now, the question says, don't worry too much about what I've written underneath. I've done that to try and help us with our understanding. Complete the calculation. Okay, so we're just looking at this calculation here. Then it says, write 3 different multiplication calculations. Okay, so 3 different multiplication calculations. Now you'll probably see that along with this one here, I've written effectively 6. I'm going to talk about why in a second. So I had to write 3 different multiplication calculations. Well, this one would count as 1. Okay, 7 times 3 is 6. Now obviously I can rearrange these numbers in any order, but would this one count as a different multiplication? And the answer, yes, there's a different multiplication calculation. The answer is no. And the reason for that is that if I complete my numbers in this order, 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, I can even put some brackets again on that just to show we're going to do that first of all. And then I'm going to multiply 21 by 6. If I switch my 3 and my 7 round the other way, I'm still actually doing 21 times 6. So this calculation actually is no different to this one. Okay, by just reversing these 2 numbers, I'm still effectively doing 3 times 7 to begin with. Yeah, 3 times 7 or 7 times 3, whichever way round I want to read it. So a good way, if you've got to rearrange numbers in 3 different orders, is to think, well, once I've multiplied 2 numbers, I'm then multiplying by 6. So what about then, if I multiply 2 numbers, let's then multiply them by 7. Again, 3 times 6 is going to be 18. Or 6 times 3 is going to be 18. So it doesn't matter which way round I write my 3 multiplied by 6. So actually, this one I wouldn't count as one of my 3 either. okay? Because effectively it's still going to be 18 either way to begin with, multiplied by 7. And then if I've done two numbers multiplied by 6, two numbers multiplied by 7, then actually my only other option then is to do two numbers multiplied by 3. Okay, 6 times 7 we know is 42. Okay, let's just keep to the blue. But again, if I do 7 times 6 or 6 times 7, it's still 42. So it doesn't matter which way around I write these numbers. Okay, and then I'm going to times them by 3. And again, putting those brackets on can just help us to really see that it's those two numbers that we are doing first of all at the start of a calculation. Okay. So actually, I don't need this one because it's still the same as the top one. It's still 42 times 3. So write 3 multiplication calculations. Well, there's one, 7 times 3, then times by 6. Here's another one, 3 times 6, then times by 7. Here's another one, 6 times 7 times by 3. Okay. Now, at this point, you need to then solve the calculations. Now, looking at those then, I guess we do work out calculations differently. So it's very much an individual basis. Which one would we find the easiest to do? Well, if I was working mentally, personally, I think I'd probably find 18 times 7 the trickiest. I think I would do 42 multiplied by 3 because I can multiply 40 by 3 and get 120, and I can multiply 2 by 3 and get 6. My answer is going to be 126. Actually, my answer to all of them is 126. Because whichever order I multiply these three numbers, I'm always going to get the same product. I'm always going to get the same answer. Okay, product's another word for answer when we're multiplying. Some of you might have preferred to have done 21 times 6. You might know that 5 lots of 20 is 100, 6 lots of 20 is 120, and then 6 times 1 is 6, 126. As we've often said, there are many mental strategies, many mental ways of working out a calculation, and sometimes what's best for one person isn't always best for the other. But often we can possibly eliminate the one that looks the more trickier way to solve it. So I want you to bear that in mind today, that you can do your numbers in any order. Let's just look at that one final time then. So this question says, tick the best way to group the numbers in the calculation below. Then it says, explain your choice. Okay, well, if this is 7 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3, I know I've got to multiply these two numbers to begin with at the start. Okay, I'll put some brackets on just to remind us that we are doing those at the start. And hopefully that's given you time just to work out 7 times 4, which is 28. So if I do the top method, I'm going to be doing 28 multiplied by 3. Okay. If I do 3 times 4 first of all, which is 12, then I'm doing 12 multiplied by 7. Now I would argue for most of us, as long as we know our 12 times table, that this is the better choice. And I would be then, where it says explain my choice, I'd be writing a written explanation explaining that I would choose this way because I'm able to just use my knowledge of the 12 times table. Okay, 12 sevens or 7 12s, 7 times 12 is 84. Okay, that way I know that the answer to this one's also going to be 84. Okay, at the risk of continuing to repeat myself too much, we can do these numbers in any order. Okay, I'm just going to just make sure that I'm really clear with my numbers. Very important. Something we've always talked about in class is making sure we're exceptionally clear, so anyone marking our work knows what we've written. Okay, 28 times 3, well, still I think that is achievable as a mental method. 3 lots of 20 is 60. 3 lots of 8 is 24. Add my 60 to my 24, 84. but this would be my choice. Okay? You might have chosen the top one if perhaps you wasn't as confident with your 12 times table. The key bit is here is knowing that you can do them in any order and putting them in an order that suits you. Okay? And my final point before I just look at a very additional challenge today is don't forget, if you're doing 28 times 3 and you can't do it in your head, you could use your grid method. So I'm going to say then, anyone today who is going to choose the bronze or the silver challenge, I'd like you to start your work. And you can see you've got a series of problems there. Show you're working on these sheets or grab an additional sheet and read the question carefully. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to get all 8 of your questions correct, whether you choose bronze or silver. Okay, the gold questions just make you think a little bit more, and there is just this additional gold challenge if you want to have a go, but you don't have to. I'm just now going to go through that additional challenge. So bronze and silver, please start. So my final question to go through with you today then is this one. It says, arrange the cards to create a multiplication number sentence. Which cards cannot be used? So first of all, you're going to need to take either 84 or 96 as your product. In other words, if you multiply 3 numbers, they're either going to make 84 or they're going to make 96. And it's only asking for one multiplication sentence. So you might decide to do 5 times 9 times 2. You might decide to do 5 times 9 times 6. You might decide to do 5 times 7 times 9. Okay? You've got to find 3 numbers that you can multiply together that make one of these numbers. Okay? So you necessarily haven't got exactly the same numbers as that in your problem, but that's just to show you how you would go about doing that. So I hope you enjoy your challenges today, Year 4, and don't forget that all of the answers, it does say at the top of your questions, but all of the answers are provided. Okay, and there are some spare grids there should you need them at all, but possibly other than the Sapphire group, you might not need to use your grid method today. So good luck, Year 4, and speak to you again soon. Thank you.